Supermodel Linda Evangelista is taking legal action after a cosmetic procedure reportedly went wrong, sending her into a deep depression.
Being famous for your body sounds like a dream, until your body stops playing along. These women were praised for looking a certain way, pushed to protect it, improve it, or exaggerate it, and then punished when things went wrong. From an actress who lost her career after one surgery tore her stomach apart, to a reality star who lost her fame after doing 10 cosmetic surgeries in one day. Number 9. Linda Evangelista. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, Linda Evangelista was one of the most famous models in the world. She walked top runways, fronted luxury campaigns, and was known for saying she did not get out of bed for less than $10,000 a day. Fashion houses paid that kind of money because her face and body were seen as close to perfect. Her looks were her main asset. Strong cheekbones, a sharp jaw, and a lean frame made almost any outfit look better. As long as that body stayed the same, her career stayed strong. With age, the pressure only grew. Younger models kept entering the business, and every small change in her figure felt like a risk. Around the middle of the 2010s, she turned to cool sculpting, a fat freezing treatment sold as an easy way to shrink stubborn bulges without surgery. She expected a simple tune-up to help her stay in sample sizes. Instead, the treatment went badly wrong. After several sessions, the areas that had been frozen began to swell, harden, and push outward. A doctor finally told her she had a rare side effect called paradoxical adipose hyperplasia. In simple terms, the fat in the treated spots had done the exact opposite of what it was meant to do. It had grown larger and formed firm, visible lumps instead of fading away. For someone who had built a life on clean lines and tight clothes, that change was devastating. She tried to fight it with strict diets and hard workouts, even starving herself at times, but the blocks of fat stayed. She then went through 2 painful liposuction surgeries and weeks in tight compression garments and a chin strap. Work offers slowed and then stopped. She stayed at home, gained weight, and avoided events. She later said the damage left her deeply depressed, ashamed, and feeling disfigured and unrecognizable. The same body that had once paid her bills now made her afraid to be seen. In the early 2020s, she finally spoke publicly about what had happened and sued the company behind the treatment, asking for $50 million because she believed it had destroyed her career. The case settled the next year, but money could not give her back the years she spent hiding. Only after that did she slowly return to fashion. She posed in high-neck and structured outfits that covered the damaged areas and talked about the fat-freezing disaster, the surgeries, and the therapy she still needs. Number 8. Adrianne Curry. Adrianne Curry became famous almost overnight. In the early 2000s, she won the very first season of America's Next Top Model and went from a waitress in Illinois to walking runways and shooting magazine covers. Very quickly, she was posing in lingerie and tiny dresses, and later doing nude photo spreads. Her tall frame, flat stomach, and full chest were what brands were paying for. Her body was not just part of the job, it was the product. That success pulled her even deeper into the spotlight. She signed with big agencies, booked fashion campaigns, and landed on lists of the hottest women in the world. Playboy featured her more than once, and fan sites shared photo after photo of her in bikinis and tight tops. She met an older sitcom actor on a reality show, moved in with him, and let cameras follow their daily life. At fan conventions, she showed up in corsets and superhero costumes that showed almost everything. Behind all that attention, there was one thing she hated. She and her brother were born with a chest problem that made their breasts grow unevenly. Standing next to other models, she felt crooked and exposed. Around 2006, she agreed to get silicone breast implants from a famous surgeon in Beverly Hills. She has said she wanted to fix the defect, feel normal in her own skin, and quiet a boyfriend who kept picking apart her chest. The change did not go the way she hoped. After surgery, her breasts felt cold and hard, and she had sharp pain across her chest and shoulders. A second, very expensive operation, a year or two later, tried to fix the first one, but thick scar tissue grew inside, squeezed the implants, and left them sitting too high and twisted. She started calling them her Frankenboobs, and later talked about dead flesh, warped skin, and scars that made her dread looking in the mirror. Over the years, the health problems piled up. She has described constant chest pain, strange rashes, and a foggy feeling that would not lift, even while she was still squeezing into tight outfits for live hosting and comic book events. Work offers slowed down, and the party girl image that once sold so well started to feel fake. In her early 30s, she walked away from Hollywood, moved with her new husband to a quiet mountain town, and began selling old gowns, designer handbags, and piles of collectibles from her glory days to help pay bills and save for one last big surgery. That final operation, around 2019 or 2020, was to take the implants out completely. In surgery, doctors found that one implant had ruptured and the tissue around it had turned black from necrosis, which simply means the flesh had died. To clear the damage, they had to cut away almost all of her natural breast tissue. She has said she lost more than 90% of her chest and spent much of that first year after surgery crying and healing in a remote house, with her husband helping change her dressings because they lived so far from town. Number 7. Blac Chyna. Blac Chyna did not start out as a TV star. She was a young dancer in Miami, working at a big strip club called King of Diamonds, known for her tiny waist, round hips, and small frame with a very dramatic shape. That body got her noticed. Rappers booked her for music videos. She doubled for Nicki Minaj in a famous video and showed up in Tyga's Rack City, where the camera made sure people saw every curve. From there, her body turned into a full brand. She became the video girl, then the girlfriend, then the fiancée, and finally the mother of 2 children with 2 different famous men, Tyga and Rob Kardashian. That led to a reality show, photo shoots, club appearances, and later, a huge following online. Brands and promoters were paying for the extreme figure, the tiny waist, the big chest, and the very large butt in tight dresses. Years later, she admitted that a lot of that shape did not come from the gym. At about 19 years old, she went to a woman who was not a real doctor and got silicone injections in her butt. She later said those shots were very scary, that her butt would get swollen, very hard, and very hot, and that she could have died from what was put into her. In her mid-30s, something changed. She got baptized, started talking a lot about faith, and said she had a kind of wake-up call. She did not want to be the cartoon version of herself anymore. She booked major surgery to reduce her breast implants and to remove as much of the old silicone from her butt as doctors could reach. One surgeon later said it took about 8.5 hours to clean out the material because it kept clogging his tools. When she came out of those surgeries, her body was different. Her chest was smaller, her hips and butt were less extreme, and her clothes suddenly looked simple instead of like club costumes. She told interviewers she felt lighter and safer. She also started dissolving fillers in her face and taking off tattoos she now saw as dark or evil, trying to match the outside to how she felt inside. That new body came with a money hit. She had made serious cash on OnlyFans, where she posted sexual content built around that extreme figure. One faith site reported that she earned around $2 million in about 2 years, while gossip pages pushed much higher numbers and called her one of the top earners on the platform. Then she walked away. After her baptism, she said the site was degrading and not what God would want, and shut the account down. Soon, money problems started to show. She put her large house in the Woodland Hills area of Los Angeles up for sale for about $4.6 million. Reports said she had only about $3,000 left in her bank account, had taken on heavy loans against her property, and was selling off cars and luxury items as she tried to start over with smaller business projects and a new public image under her birth name, Angela White. Number 6. K. Michelle. K. Michelle was sold to the public as the full package. Big voice, big attitude, and a curvy body people could not ignore. On Love and Hip Hop, she showed up with a small waist, round hips, and a large butt in tight dresses. Fans and blogs praised her figure, and she later said a major magazine even named her as having one of the best bodies in music. For a while, that shape helped sell every song and storyline. Behind the scenes, she felt pressure to go even bigger. She had already gotten breast surgery and fat taken from her stomach and moved to her butt. Then she heard about a man in Atlanta who did cheap butt shots with silicone. He was not a real doctor, but other women in music had gone to him. She later said she believed that the bigger the butt, the bigger the career, and she wanted that extreme soda bottle shape. At first, it seemed to work. The shots made her butt much larger, and her hourglass shape became more extreme. She kept filming reality TV, releasing music, and hearing praise for her curves. But silicone like that does not sit safely in a soft bag like a normal implant. It can move, harden, and mix into muscle and fat. All of that was happening slowly inside her long before anyone could see a problem. Around 5 years later, her body started to fail. She developed burning pain in her legs and lower back. Her legs swelled, and she had strong headaches and deep tiredness that never seemed to lift. Doctors finally found that the silicone had started to leak and slide into her legs, hurting healthy tissue and small blood vessels. A first surgery using liposuction only moved the material around. Soon, she was rushed to the hospital, needed blood transfusions, and was warned that the injections could kill her if she did not get them out. That was the start of a long fix. She went through one operation after another as doctors tried to cut out dead flesh and remove as much silicone as they could reach. She later said the full process took about 13 surgeries over roughly 3 years. It left her scarred and weak. Some days, she could not stand in heels, walk across a room, or perform without pain. Her career slid at the same time. When your brand is built on a huge butt and that same butt keeps putting you in a hospital bed, you cannot keep up with tours, videos, and long studio nights. She had to cancel shows and pull back from the spotlight for long stretches. Number 5. Heidi Montag. Heidi Montag entered reality TV as the pretty blonde friend on a Los Angeles show about rich kids. She was the girl from Colorado in low-rise jeans and bikinis by the pool. Cameras often lingered on her flat stomach and small waist, and that California doll body quickly became a big part of why people watched. That attention brought jobs. She posed for magazines, did music videos, and hosted club nights where she showed up in a short dress and smiled for photos. Her image was built on being young, slim, and hot. At the same time, she has said she spent years staring at her nose, chin, and chest, convinced none of them were good enough. In her early 20s, she had a nose job and breast implants, and instead of feeling better, she came out wanting even more changes. Around the age of 23, she booked a marathon surgery day in Beverly Hills. In one session, she had 10 procedures, including a brow lift, her ears pinned back, more work on her nose, liposuction on her waist and hips, and a second breast enlargement that took her up to about an F cup. It was a full-body overhaul in less than 1 day. The recovery almost killed her. After hours under anesthesia and heavy doses of the pain drug Demerol, her breathing slowed so much that the staff told her husband they thought she had died for a minute. She later said she woke up in a recovery center with nurses watching her, wrapped in bandages, and barely able to move. When the swelling went down, even her own mother did not recognize her at first. Her career went the opposite way she expected. Her pop album, Superficial, came out soon after and sold only 1,000 copies in its first week. Online, people mocked her new face and body and called her plastic and desperate. In one interview, she said brands told her, "We cannot work with you. You are now surgery girl." The body she changed for fame also kept hurting her. Those F-cup implants weighed several pounds and left her with back pain, neck pain, and numb arms. A few years later, she had them removed and went back down to C-cup implants so she could move and sleep without constant strain. She and her husband left Los Angeles, lived cheaply away from Hollywood, and tried to rebuild with smaller reality shows and social media instead of chasing fame. Number 4. Tara Reid. Tara Reid was the kind of actress people noticed as soon as she walked on screen. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, she played the pretty girl in teen and party movies like American Pie and American Pie 2. She was the blonde friend with the slim body, and the camera treated her like a young sex symbol. Magazines put her in bikinis, red carpets loved her short dresses, and her body became a big part of her fame. In Hollywood, that kind of attention comes with pressure. Other young actresses were lining up for the same roles, and the message was simple: stay small, stay tight, look perfect. Around 2004, she went to a plastic surgeon. She asked for breast implants and a kind of liposuction called body contouring, where fat is sucked out to try to give the stomach a flat cut look. She later said she only wanted a small chest, about a B cup, but the doctor made her larger. The result was a mess. The work on her stomach healed badly. She said the skin there turned into the most ripply, bulgy thing, with a large hernia near her belly button, where tissue pushed through a weak spot in the muscle. Websites started calling her chest the ugliest boob job in the world. She stopped wearing bikinis because she did not want anyone to see the damage, and later said she lost a lot of work because of how her body now looked. Things hit a new low on a red carpet in New York. At a party for P. Diddy's 35th birthday, her dress strap slipped down in front of photographers and exposed one breast, along with the surgery scars. She did not realize it at first and kept smiling while cameras clicked. When someone finally told her, she begged the photographers not to print the pictures, but by the weekend, the images were everywhere, and that wardrobe slip was talked about as one of the worst in Hollywood. Work dried up. She later admitted that because her stomach looked so strange, she lost a lot of jobs that required swimwear. At the same time, some of her movies were failing at the box office, and the drunk party girl stories around her made studios more nervous. Instead of big films, she moved into reality shows like Paradise and Celebrity Big Brother and a string of low-budget projects, trying to stay visible while living in a body she no longer felt proud of. A few years later, a different surgeon fixed much of the damage, removing the implants and smoothing her stomach as best he could. She has said that if she could go back, she would never touch any of it. Number 3. Angie Everheart. Angie Everheart was one of those models you could spot from far away. In the 1990s, her long red hair and athletic body were all over glossy covers. She posed for big fashion magazines, showed up in the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, and later did a nude spread for Playboy. That swimsuit body also opened the door to acting jobs in action and thriller movies, where she was cast as the sexy redhead again and again. At the height of that run, she was living in Los Angeles, going to premieres and dating famous men, including movie stars like Sylvester Stallone and Joe Pesci. During that time, one powerful boyfriend kept pushing her to get a bigger chest. Angie already had a tall frame and a natural shape that worked for catalog and swimsuit work. But in that world, people around her talked like larger breasts would make her even more marketable. She finally agreed to surgery. Angie says she went in expecting a modest C-cup, something she felt would still fit her body. While she was asleep on the table, the man she was dating came into the operating room and talked the doctor into going much larger. She woke up with double D implants she had never approved. Overnight, her chest was heavier, rounder, and completely different from the body she had built her career on. The change hit her life in a lot of ways. The new breasts strained her back and shoulders. Clothes that used to hang off her in a sleek way now pulled and gaped. She said that the implants hurt her modeling work. To get back closer to her old shape, she needed several more operations over the years, each surgery slowly stepping down the implant size so her skin would not collapse. Instead of booking more covers, she spent more and more time healing from procedures. After she had her son, one implant finally ruptured. That was the breaking point. She told her surgeon she was done and wanted everything out. The implants were removed in a simple explant surgery, and she thought the nightmare would be over. Instead, the next 10 years turned into a strange kind of hell. She developed constant migraines, neck and shoulder pain, and something even scarier, heavy brain fog that made it hard to form sentences. She has described forgetting words in the middle of a thought, losing track of why she had walked into a room, and even struggling to remember lines on set. Doctors ran tests, but could not give her a clear answer. As the pain and confusion got worse, work dried up. She avoided red carpets because she was afraid of freezing in front of reporters. She says she lost years of her life, her marriage, and her career while people around her started to think she was just being dramatic or lazy. A turning point came when another woman asked if the surgeon who removed her implants had also taken out the capsules, the shell of scar tissue that forms around every implant. Angie learned that those capsules had been left inside her chest. Convinced they were making her sick, she flew from Los Angeles to Florida for yet another operation with a specialist who focuses on removing both implants and capsules. Within a few months of that surgery, she said her pain faded, her mood lifted, and the fog in her head finally cleared. Number 2. Jennifer Grey. Jennifer Grey was a working actress when one role turned her into a worldwide crush. In the late 1980s, she played Baby in Dirty Dancing, a 17-year-old girl on summer vacation, even though she was in her mid-20s. She had big curly hair and a soft body. On screen, she moved like a real shy young woman, and audiences connected with that look right away. Her face was her power. Casting people remembered the strong profile and the bump on her nose. It gave her expressions an edge and made every close-up feel different. That imperfect nose quietly became part of her brand. When Dirty Dancing turned into a surprise box office hit, her image was on posters and magazine covers, and she became the face of one of the biggest romantic films of that decade. Then, real life hit hard. In the summer of 1987, just before the movie came out, she was riding in Northern Ireland with her boyfriend Matthew Broderick when their rental car crossed into the wrong lane and hit another car head-on. 2 women in the other vehicle were killed. Jennifer survived with serious whiplash and later called the crash one of the top traumas of her life. While the film was taking off, she was dealing with grief and guilt instead of celebrating success. In the years that followed, the comments about her nose grew louder. Family and people in the business kept suggesting that if she had it fixed, more leading roles would open up. She finally agreed. In the early 1990s, she underwent rhinoplasty, surgery to reshape the nose, and then had a second operation to adjust the first one. The change was supposed to polish her. Instead, it almost erased her. When the bandages came off, the bump was gone, and her nose was slimmer and straighter, closer to a standard Hollywood look. but it also made her almost unrecognizable. She later said she went into the operating room a celebrity and came out anonymous, calling it the nose job from hell. Friends did not know her at first. Casting directors could not connect this new face with the girl from Dirty Dancing, and offers for big roles faded. Over time, she found other ways to work, but on a smaller level. In 2010, she joined Dancing with the Stars and won season 11 with partner Derek Hough, reminding people she could still move like Baby. In 2022, she released a memoir called Out of the Corner and talked about the crash, the surgeries, and learning to accept the face in the mirror. Number 1. Remy Bader. Remy Bader blew up on TikTok with realistic clothing hauls. She ordered clothes in her own size and showed how they actually fit on a big body. Jeans stuck at her thighs, zippers would not close, and she called out brands. In a few years, that brought her more than 1 million followers, tens of millions of likes, and steady fashion and beauty deals. Off-screen, she was in trouble. A family member once offered her $1,000 if she could lose 20 pounds as a child. After that, she bounced between strict diets and secret binges. Over time, that became binge eating disorder, which is when someone eats a lot of food very quickly and feels unable to stop. By her late 20s, she had back pain, sleep issues, and doctors warning that her weight was already hurting her health. She tried medicine before surgery. Doctors prescribed weight loss drugs like Ozempic and other shots. At first, they cut her hunger and the scale moved down. Then side effects took over. She has said she was vomiting almost every day on Ozempic, and when she quit the drug, she gained back about double what she lost, and her binges got worse than before. Therapy, support groups, and eating plans all helped for a while, but nothing fully broke the cycle. After years of that fight, she and her doctors agreed on bariatric surgery, a type of weight loss operation. In her case, it was a version of gastric bypass often called SATIS, where surgeons remove most of the stomach so a person feels full after only a small amount of food. She had the procedure in late 2023, saying later that it was about staying alive and easing pain, not chasing a skinny look. The recovery was brutal. For more than 6 weeks, she felt weak, nauseous, and scared. She struggled to keep food down, kept losing weight faster than she wanted, and slid into a deep depression. She has said that during the worst weeks, she wanted to die and did not recognize the smaller body in the mirror. She also pulled back from posting because she could not handle people judging every change. Then came the backlash. As her body shrank, some followers accused her of lying about how she lost weight and said she blocked people who asked about surgery. When she finally spoke, critics said she had betrayed plus-size women while others defended her. She now says her health is better, but she still feels uneasy in her new frame. Thanks for watching. Now check out the videos popping up on screen for more unbelievable stories.